What's up, everyone? Welcome to our first live stream to the UMS online coaching group. This is going to be a really different format because those live streams that we do to the UMS Movement Mastermind, they're really podcasts. And you'll notice that I am actually looking at the camera today. When we do those podcasts, we basically just, we're just doubling down on our time. So we're live streaming it to the UMS Movement Mastermind so that we can get engagement with people. We can show people that we care. We can get some questions in. But this is all about training you legends on a higher level. You are the people that are much more bought into the UMS philosophy. And we've recognized that we really need to be helping you guys on a higher level. So I don't even know if we've got anybody watching. We do, yeah?
Yep.
Who's on them?
Shout out to Lee Thompson. I know you're watching.
Okay.
Oh, good. I just love this how I can spin around.
Hi, Lee.
I can just reposition this and completely change.
These mics are just changing our lives. So this whole setup is pretty cool. I've actually got to get a bit closer.
I was also just saying, you guys can't see this. We'll have to do a behind the scenes shot, but I've made it so there's a lot of raw timber in here now. I grew up in the country. Rad and I grew up in the country, and I grew up in timber houses, and I think I find timber soothing.
Oh, for sure.
I
love it.
I love just that polished timber look. And
do you know what I find
I've had
soothing?
a vision of this place for a long time.
A cup of coffee on a beautiful spring day.
I've had a vision of this studio for a long time, and now it's starting to come to fruition, and geez, it feels good.
Yeah, it is.
Today we're talking about the health hierarchy of needs. For those of you who may or may not know, I expect that most people will
Morning, Adam.
catch this on the replay. Let us know in the comments if you know of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It was a psychology paper called that he released back in, I think it was 1943 or 1840. It was a long time ago. I'm going to bring it up on Google and find out. But it was about the concept, the theory of human motivation is what he wrote the paper on, and it's been widely adopted as something that is very important right now. And we'll quickly just recap the original Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just so that you guys know where this is coming from. But Rad, Richard, and I have been working extremely hard on trying to determine the difference between phenomenal and average results. We see a lot of people. We've had the privilege of coaching a lot of people since 2004, since the end of 2004 for myself and Rad, and a little bit later for Richard after he came out of the army. But we've coached a lot of people, and we've noticed some consistencies among the people who just get things right and achieve phenomenal results, and also the people who sort of get average results. And we very rarely get people who get no result at all. We do every once in a while. We get just the completely wrong fit person who comes in for a week or two and just is out of their depth and goes, wow, this is not for me. And
I'd say in the UMS online coaching group, we get a lot more than that.
Yeah.
There's a big turnaround. There is a turnaround of people that join the program. I mean, I see you don't see it. You don't monitor that. I see people signing up and then people leaving, a month or 2 months later, and we never even hear from them. You never hear from them in the group.
Yep.
And this is what inspired us to do this complete Thinkific site rebuild, which is, you guys have no idea what you're in for. It is so cool, and it is all about improving your experience. It's all about making it more streamlined, more simplified, and giving you what you need when you need it, rather than just this mass of information and programs with a kind of you figure it out for yourself.
Look,
and
because you put it in like it's a really bad negative thing.
No, I didn't.
Phase one for us was to get our content online. Mm-hmm. Phase two is to create a user experience. And that's what we're working on right now.
Yeah, that's right.
And then phase 3 is to convert that whole thing into an app.
Yep.
And that will be coming in the next year or two.
Yep.
So we're on track and everything's on pace and on target. But yeah, what Rad's trying to say is what this means for you guys as part of the UMS group who have stayed with us, it's going to get fun from
it's
here on.
It's going to get really, really cool.
Yeah.
So the like we've been talking recently about what is the difference between those that achieve greatness with our programming and those that don't. And I'm going to talk about a few people. Now, please don't be upset or offended if your name isn't called out here, because we're just going to call out a couple of names of the people that we know are crushing it. And that is, of course, our 3 moderators. So Blakely, Harnage, Tom Wood, and Biwa Kwan. Those 3 are crushing it. And another couple of people that come to mind that I see that are absolutely crushing it is Alex Seabrook. He's killing it. Connor O'Shea is absolutely crushing it. Kevin Lee is crushing it as well. And Becca Perry as well. I've seen Becca nail her first pull-ups. And we got into talking about, why is it that some of these people are just getting these phenomenal results and others aren't? And what we identified is that the people that are getting phenomenal results are already further along their journey. They're further up the health hierarchy of needs, which Yanni and I actually clarified and put down on paper yesterday or Monday for the first time. Which
Aiden Potts is another one who's really
Aiden Potts, yeah. Yep. Another one. So the health hierarchy of needs that we've created ourselves, I guess we came up with this. Not to say that anybody else hasn't done it, but what we believe the health hierarchy of needs is first. This
is where I wanted to start. Before you do that, I want to point out the original Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just so that people have got some context built. According to where am I? What am I doing here? I think his name was like Thomas Maslow or something like that. Abraham Maslow. Of course it was Abraham.
Why wouldn't it be?
Why wouldn't it be Abraham? Abraham Maslow. According to Abraham Maslow, before you can even consider becoming spiritually enlightened or searching for the love or partner of your life's partner, whatever that is, or trying to get social recognition, strength, mastery in something, anything like that. The very first thing you need is what he referred to as physiological needs, which is air, water, food, shelter. You need to be getting sleep, and you need clothing, and he even says reproduction in there as well.
Well, it's like going back to caveman times.
Yeah, the basics.
If you didn't have air, food, water, and shelter, you wouldn't be looking at trying to meet a mate or trying to become successful, or like if those things aren't there, you're going to die within the next couple of days or week or 2 or whatever it is. So that's the baseline level of needs. And in today's day and age, if you don't live in a third world country, you're almost guaranteed that you've got those things. They're taken care of. If you've got a job, you've got air, food, water, and shelter.
Possibly not reproduction, but I think that's a bit wishy-washy anyway. The next is safety needs, which is personal security. You need to feel safe and protected, and you need employment, you need financial security, you need certain resources. Health and property is already listed in there, which becomes part of that security measure.
And the idea being, before we even go further with this, the idea being that if you don't have any of these things and you're trying to work on one of the higher things, you're going to experience a high level of stress.
Extreme difficulty.
Yeah, extreme difficulty and stress.
It's like learning to drive in a Formula One car.
Yeah.
It's just unrealistic. You're not going to get there. Yeah. You're not going to be able to do it.
Guys, if you've just tuned in, just to give you some context, if you've got the time, watch this show with us, because we are going to really make this specific to you, our UMS online coaching members. The reason why we've gone live to this group is this is not for the masses. This is for those of you that are committed to our program. So if you've just tuned in, this is going to be very specific content for you. If you watched yesterday and the day before's show, we're just pre-framing it by talking about similar stuff that we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
After safety needs, it's love and belonging. So this is where people, Abraham Maslow identified that people are ready to start really building solid friendships, intimacy with a partner, creating a family.
And a feeling of being part of a community.
And being part of a community, sense of connection.
Yes, that's right.
And then only once you've got that in place can you move to the next level, which is what he refers to as esteem, which is respect, self-esteem, status amongst your community and tribe, recognition. He also says strength and freedom. So you become a person of influence. You become free-willed. Able to sort of create and forge your own destiny, that sort of thing. And that's what a lot of us strive for in everyday life. And then on the very top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he has self-actualization, so desire to become the most that one can be. And this is where a lot of people talk about it slightly differently. Rad and I talk about it as in mastery. You become a master of something, you become renowned for something, well-known for something. And it's sort of what a lot of people strive for in life, but unfortunately, people decide they want to do that and they forget that they still got to get these other things really dialed in first. And what we're going to reveal to you guys over the course of our streams and things like that is that if you put your effort into the wrong area at the wrong time, it can become really frustrating and really stifling. So what we've done is we've created a version of this specific to health, specific to training. And have you got the document up, Brad? Do you want to?
I don't need to, buddy. I know it already.
You know it already. All right.
So what we've identified in the health hierarchy of needs is that there's 5 needs. At the top is mastery. So
which is the same.
Which is what? Yeah, it's the same thing. It's what I strive for. Yep. My goal in movement is mastery in calisthenics, mastery in movement skill, mastery in martial arts, in flexibility, in strength, movement mastery. Yep. And it's what so many people strive for, but often people try to work on it before they've got the other 4 below them. And so what we've identified is that, and I'm going to go through them quicker than what you did on the last one so that people can really categorize it in their head quickly. At the lowest level, you need motivation. If you're not motivated, you're not even going to be able to stick to the next one. At the next level above motivation is movement habit, which is just creating the habit of movement. So it's not something that you have to think, people say, I might train tomorrow. Oh no, I've got this meeting. No. You need the habit. It's a daily thing.
I think it's deeper than that. I think daily. That's what you just said.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people who exercise 3 days a week, and they don't get anywhere near what they're trying to achieve. Now they would be moving. They're moving. They've started a habit of exercise. The key, I think, here is that if you want to progress through the hierarchy of needs, it has to be a daily habit of movement. Habit.
That's exactly right.
And that means that even on the days when you're not coming to the gym, you feel displaced if you haven't moved to some degree, if you haven't gone for a walk or a run or got outside and thrown a football around or something like that. You get to a point where you feel uncomfortable sitting still all day.
Yep. Next after that comes nutrition. And we threw up between which one would come first, nutrition or the daily habit of movement.
It's a raging, continued debate amongst the health and fitness industry. What's more important to get in place first, nutrition or exercise?
And the reason why we chose exercise first is because we don't believe this. We know this. We've seen it time and time again. It is so much easier for the average person to create a daily habit of movement than it is to change their diet and stick to the change that they've made. We've seen it thousands and thousands of times over and over and over. And so what we want is we want to create small wins. We want people to reach for the low-lying fruit first, because the daily habit of movement, if you actually create that, it empowers you, and you start feeling like, wow, I can do this. I've created something.
Once you create motivation and you ignite your motivation, we call it taking it further and getting it becoming a burning desire. You need to fuel that fire.
Yep.
And fueling that fire requires one simple thing: progress.
Yep.
It requires progress, which you can also describe as momentum.
Yep.
And momentum comes from wins. Achieving things.
Yep.
And the hardest thing to achieve is a transformation in one's diet.
Yep.
Nutrition. It's a big beast. It requires a lot of work, and it often requires breaking down some deeply rooted dogmas around food that you've built up over a lifetime from being raised, your parents, your schooling, your political agendas and beliefs, your religious beliefs. You know, food is really, it is a religion now. You know, and it's people are patriotic about the way they eat. You know. Or
Patriotic's not the right word. Patriotic refers to a
patriot's
country.
the wrong word. Okay, so people are, I guess, I don't know, like dogmatic about the way they eat.
Yeah. And so that's the third one. Fourth is physique. And what we refer to as physique is, we're not talking about getting on stage being a physique model. We're talking about having a good body composition. We're talking about being in healthy shape. And I'll give you context for this one. If you don't get in good shape before you try movement mastery, like we have people that are at the gym that have 30 or 40 pounds to lose, and they're telling us that their goal is to do a bodyweight pull-up. And they really, really struggle being told that the number one thing that will get them closer to the pull-up is losing the 40 pounds, not getting stronger. If you tried to of course you have to get stronger. Of course you need to do your strength training. But if you strapped 40 pounds or, 20 kilos to me and got me to try and do pull-ups, I wouldn't be able to do even close to as many as I can do with bodyweight.
Charles Poliquin put this so frankly and so well. In the very first time I ever saw him speak live at a course in Sydney, someone got into a debate with him about how to make a runner faster. It was about a rugby player. It was a trainer was in the course who was a coach for a rugby team. Mm-hmm. And he was, asking for the best protocol to improve. One of the markers that they use in football is they test a 50-yard dash. Yeah. How quickly, because these players have to be able to run up onto the line, tackle someone, and then sprint back and get themselves into the play again, And no matter how big they are as a forward or whatever position they play, it's very important that they can do that quickly. And so he was asking what the best programming protocol for Charles was, from Charles's experience, to increase, that would work every time on an athlete to increase their 50-yard dash. And Charles really upset this guy because he said, make them lean. Yeah. And everyone just thought, he's just a bodybuilding coach and he wants everyone to look lean, and it's not important for an athlete to be lean, And he said, there is nothing on this planet that is easier and more straightforward than taking someone from 15%, which is the average football player's body composition, to about 10% body fat. Yeah. In that process, they're going to become more efficient. Muscular efficiency will improve, and they're most likely going to lose about 10 kilos. Mm-hmm. And there is nothing you can do to improve someone's 50-yard dash more than losing 10 kilos. Yeah. If you strap a 10-kilo weight vest on and run 50 yards, it slows you down astronomically. Yep. And a lot of people in the audience really struggled with that. They were like, that's bullshit. Athletes don't need to be lean. Yep. There's so many great football players that aren't super lean. And he said, yeah, there are, but they'd be better if they were lean.
Yep. Right. Yep. And so the same thing goes with movement mastery with the UMS.
That's right.
Being lean is the number one thing that's going to help you to get to those body weight goals.
Yeah.
So that's the health hierarchy of needs. We've got motivation first, then we've got movement habits second, then we've got nutrition third, then we've got physique fourth, and then we've got movement mastery as the last thing. And where everybody stuffs this up is that the majority of people, so if you look at the wider fitness community jumps straight to step 4. They just focus on physique.
It's 4 or 5.
Yeah, they haven't even tackled the first 3. Or then there's those people who want to learn movement mastery and they go straight to 5. Yeah. And they aren't even in good shape, and they're trying to master handstands and calisthenics.
The majority of the powerlifting community, elite level athletes, they're at 5 and they're forgetting, most of these guys get motivated because they want to win a competition, and and I've got great friends who are like some of the world's best powerlifters, and I can guarantee you the guys on the top of their field, although they eat truckloads of food, they're very aware of what they eat. Yeah. They are like religious. I've seen and spoken to Hafthor Bjornsson's coach, and they're like full on with what he eats, man, Yeah. And he's done some great, he started to vlog now, which is really cool to see. You should see the amount of like blueberries and vegetables and things like that guy puts into his smoothies and that he's eating every day. Now the sheer amount of calories is astronomical that he's got to put away. But yeah, you know, like there is so many people that are skipping the first three of these things, just totally discrediting them. You know.
Well, look, if we bring this in for what's specific to our UMS online coaching members, so we've framed what we wanted to talk about, and now we want to start talking about how does this affect you guys? How does this affect those of you that are part of the UMS online coaching program? Now, what we did recently was Yanni and I are constantly trying to figure out how can we help these people to achieve greatness? What can we do? And we had to talk about the legends of this group, the people that now. Don't get me wrong. I know that there's a lot of you that are in this great category. I'm just talking about the ones that are appearing to my mind.
The simple answer is they're the ones that are posting a lot.
Yeah, the ones that are posting
they're in front
more.
of mind.
Yeah. So the people that for sure is Tom Wood, Blakely Harnage and Biwa Kwan, the moderators. We've also got the people that pop to my mind, Kevin O'Shea, Alex Seabrook,
Aidan Potts,
Connor O'Shea, Kevin Lee, Alex Seabrook, Aidan Potts, Yanni's saying. And yeah, we were talking about, like, without even having spoken to these people about this, regardless of whether they're aware of it or not, they've already ticked the first box. They've ticked the motivation box. They are motivated enough to do this enough to get a good result. They've definitely ticked the second box because they're creating that daily habit. We can see them posting all the time, so we know they're doing that and we know they're sticking to the program. Now, what we don't know is, are they on top of their diet? And what we do know when we look at people's videos is, do they have a healthy, balanced body composition?
Yeah.
And some of the people that we're talking about there do, and some of them don't have the healthiest body composition. Now, let us make this really clear, guys. We're not trying to, you've been with us for long enough. You know that we're not bodybuilders here. We're not into bodybuilding. We're not into training to look good. But make no mistake, having a good looking physique is a side effect of being in good shape. And it's something that, comes from daily habit of movement, doing the right movement and eating the right way. And when Yanni and I have even gotten a little bit out of shape, like when we go from say 10 or somewhere between probably 9 and 11% body fat up to that 12 to 13% body fat, like if you told that to most people, they think, oh my God, you guys are obsessed. That's ridiculous. But you know what? We can feel it.
Yeah,
and we don't train
absolutely.
as well. We're slower. We're heavier. Pull-ups are harder. Handstands are harder. Mobility's harder. So if you added another 4 or 5% onto that, there's no chance I would be able to do what I can do. Biwa, welcome. We've just been talking about you, and you might want to watch this again because you've been getting a lot of props on this show as to...
Now, let me be clear. There's not one of the people that you've mentioned has an what I would believe is an unhealthy body composition or something that they should be ashamed of. But what we want to do with this group is we want to work harder on helping you guys to determine where your biggest win comes from.
Yep, that's exactly
What
right.
is going to be your biggest opportunity for growth? Because everyone is at different stages, and that's what this health hierarchy of needs is all about. It's about helping people to identify where they're at and where they're going to get their biggest win from and where they should be pouring their blood, sweat and tears into to minimize frustration and maximize results.
Yeah, and so far we've let you down, and I should be clear about that. I've let you down because I'm the one that's had more to do with the writing of this program than Yanni has, and I have focused so much on what matters to me, which is movement mastery. So the whole program has been around movement mastery, and for a lot of people, that's exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for that program because you've already ticked those earlier boxes. But it's Yanni that made the differentiation that we're only helping the small amount of people that have already hit those first couple of boxes, the motivation, the movement habit, and even the nutrition. And those are the people that we're helping really, really well, and probably even the physique. And what we need to do is we need to bring this around and start creating something that, like Yanni just said, where everybody can say, okay, which step of this health hierarchy of needs do I need the most work on?
It doesn't mean that you're going to stop the other things.
No.
Absolutely not. But it's the 80-20 rule.
Yep.
You know, you get 80% of your results from 20% of your efforts.
Yep.
And at the moment, I think people are flying a little blind with where they're getting their big results from. And I think that this is going to help, you know, because as Rad said, we're at a different level where we're at that point where mastery is where we're putting the majority of our efforts in, you know, but not everyone's at that level yet. And it's so important. We take for granted that we've ticked those other boxes off, and we know exactly how we need to be eating to maintain a sub 11% body fat. We know exactly how much movement we need. We know exactly how to eat to eliminate or abolish systemic inflammation, or at least minimize it. We know exactly how to eat to maximize muscle protein synthesis so that we're getting the most out of every workout.
And our motivation's taken care of because we've spent 20 years figuring out what motivates us, and we know that
and
that
reprogramming
this is a part of it,
our
and
thoughts,
ourselves,
absolutely. And
so what we want to do, and I really hope that that all of you that are in the UMS online coaching program watch this from start to finish. If you've just tuned in, make sure you watch the whole thing, because what we really, really want you to do is to understand that at the bottom of your hierarchy of needs comes motivation. If you're not properly motivated, you won't achieve movement mastery. Next comes the daily habit of movement. If you're not moving daily, you won't achieve movement mastery.
Now that doesn't mean, and I want to reiterate this, that does not mean that you're doing UMS daily. That means that you cultivate an attitude where you feel uncomfortable if you haven't moved for the day.
Some type of movement.
It might be going to the park and doing some flow, some stretching, some yoga. Yep. It might be like me going for a run on Sunday morning or a walk with my kids, you know.
It could be doing a modified version of the 18-minute stretching routine.
It just means that you get to a point in your movement practice where you literally feel like there's something missing in your life if you haven't got up and moved around a little bit.
Something,
you know.
Then the third one is, and this is the one that so many people struggle with, is you have to dial your nutrition in. The fourth is that you need to get into a healthy shape. Your body needs to be of a healthy body composition. So depending on age, for men, we're talking about somewhere between the probably 8 and 13% body fat, and for women we're talking around the 18 to 23% body fat, and then the last one is the movement mastery. The last one is the mastering the press to handstand, mastering the muscle up, mastering the UMS.
And the reason why this is so important is because if you do it in the wrong order, first and foremost, it's bloody hard, if not possible at all, you know. But the other thing is that the chances of injury and all sorts of things like that, like the amount of stress that your body is put through to try and master movement when you don't have the other things in check, the likelihood that you fall off the wagon because the motivation isn't there. And when we're talking about, we're using the word motivation, what you're going to learn when we release the Motivation Academy is that it's not just motivation. That's not enough. It's a burning desire. It's a burning desire that you know, and I like to say the way you can tell whether something is a burning desire or not is if it's the first and last thing you think about every day. Then you'll know that it's a burning desire, that thing that you're trying to achieve is truly beyond everyday motivation. Motivation is enough to make you go to the gym to try and improve body composition so you look sexy for summer. That's motivation. That's what I call motivation. That's not a burning desire. That's not a burning desire to win, because that level of motivation is not going to get you to the gym when it's icy cold on a winter's morning when you've got no other time to train that day and the only opportunity you've got, is 4 a.m.
Yep.
That day you sleep in and go, oh, stuff it, I skipped the gym today, you know. But if it's a burning desire, you get up at 4 and go to the gym, you know. And it requires a deeper understanding of all of this stuff. So this is what we're going to start talking about on these weekly streams, and we're going to try and help everyone. But the goal is that by the end of the year we have these courses launched, and they're going to be part of the coaching for you, and we're going to help you guys to go through some form of an analysis, an assessment of yourself to determine where you want, where we recommend you are spending the majority of your effort.
Yeah.
You know,
and the two courses that Yanni's really referring to there is the Motivation Academy and the Nutrition Academy.
Yep.
So the same level of content and well thought out process that you've all come to love in the UMS program with the Foundations and Progressions program will be there for a nutrition program. Like, this is on another level compared to the
and
intermittent
let me be
fasting
absolutely
program.
clear, guys. This Nutrition Academy is not about telling you guys exactly what to eat. It's about teaching you how to eat to achieve 5 things. First and foremost, to understand calorie balance, to get yourself into what we call a neutral calorie balance, or a negative calorie balance if we're trying to lean up, or a positive calorie balance if you're trying to put on muscle mass. So it's the science behind how to understand calorie balance. The second is how to eradicate systemic inflammation. So it's going to be teaching you how to eat to eradicate systemic inflammation. It's not going to be saying, okay, be vegan, do intermittent fasting, be carnivore, paleo. That's not what it's about. That is very subjective, and it's about what's going to work for you, and that's what we're going to guide you on in the Nutrition Academy. Find a nutrition system, diet, whatever you want to call it, that suits you, your personality, your belief structures, all of that. We're going to make recommendations, but it's not going to be eat this food. We're not going to be paleo zealots or intermittent fasting zealots or anything like that. The next is that we're going to be teaching you how to cultivate a healthy, balanced gut microbiome, because the gut microbiome, the flora in your gut, is what governs your thoughts around food. It creates chemical reactions with the hormones in your body. And if your gut microbiome is out of whack, due to abuse from a myriad of sources, then you got little hope of changing the way you eat, So those are the first 3: calorie balance, systemic inflammation, gut microbiome. Then we're going to be teaching you how to maximize muscle protein synthesis based on whatever diet you choose. Maximize muscle protein synthesis. And then finally, we're going to teach you how to maximize cellular autophagy, which is the cell's internal housekeeping, identifying damaged components and replacing them with new healthy components. Those 5 things are going to be the keys around the Nutrition Academy. It's not going to be a diet, eat this diet. That's not what it's about. Okay?
Yeah.
So I don't want to upset anyone when they're expecting to see the fucking be-all and end-all solution to eating, because there isn't one.
But let me tell you this right now. You don't need to wait until we've released this content to get started on it. It's like Steve Kavanagh said yesterday in yesterday's stream. He was talking about how a car that's in motion, you can steer a car that's in motion, but a car that's standing still, you can't steer. So if you're in motion, if you're moving towards a goal, even if you don't know what that goal is, even if you don't know what it is that needs to happen, we can help you to be better and better and better with the right questions. So, Aidan, what you've said here, let me know.
That's exactly what the nutrition program is going to be.
That's exactly right. But let me ask you this. Have you read the current intermittent fasting nutrition guide? Have you read that yet? Because that is, for what we've got available right now, that is an amazing program, man. And let me know, have you read that from start to finish? And if you have you read it 2 or 3 times from start to finish? Because I'm pretty sure that what glutamine does is listed in that program, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and most of the supplements that we use. So have a read of that program,
all of the supplements that we use are listed in there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Yanni put a lot of effort into that. All the nutrition programs are written by Yanni.
It's dated now, and that's totally cool, because initially it was just like, let's get something out that people can use, which is what we did. It's our journey. It's sharing our journey.
But it's still better than most of the things that we're seeing out there.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, what I want to talk about is, write this stuff down. Motivation first, daily movement practice second, nutrition third, physique fourth, and movement mastery fifth. Figure out which one at the bottom. Only if you've got motivation covered do you look at identifying, is your daily movement habit taken care of? If that is, then you move on to nutrition. And the reason why we say this is because, by the time you get to nutrition, it's starting to get hard. If you are not very clear on your motivation and your burning desire as to why you do this, you will fail at the nutrition step.
The nutrition point.
Which means you have zero chance of achieving the physique step or the movement mastery step.
Yeah.
Let me make that very clear. Yanni and I have been doing this for long enough that we can say that with absolute certainty. So you must tick that motivation box first. You have to figure out, you have to find your reason as to why you're doing this and make it very, very clear and very defined so that you can write it down on paper. You can read it every morning and every evening as an affirmation to keep yourself on track.
Mate, it should be written everywhere. I've got what my burning desires are written on either side of my desk. I look at them every single day, and you should be reminding yourself of that too. Yeah, guys, absolutely. We're going to go deeper into this. And, of course, on these live chats every Wednesday, we're going to be doing this now. And we are going to, of course, still answer all of your questions. And we'll be interacting with you guys a lot more during this session than we would in the other one, in the regular UMS Movement Mastermind. That's the goal here. We're not just going to be regurgitating content. We'll have a reason for coming on and talking every day, but
we're also, as we come out of this lockdown, there will be more talk on this show about the actual training that you're doing and what the mesocycles are and what the goals are and things like that.
Yep.
So as always, ask your questions in this group and we will still answer them in the UMS Movement Mastermind group. We're always going to serve you guys first. This show itself is going to be on a higher level. We're going to be talking about stuff that's specific to you that are in the Movement Mastermind in the UMS online coaching program. Cool, Aidan. Yeah, it looks like you're awesome, man. Yeah, it looks like you're doing well then. All right, team. Well, look, thanks so much. Thanks so much for tuning in. And, thanks for being part of the program, for making the UMS online coaching what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big things are coming. Not sure exactly where the site rebuild for Thinkific is just yet, but it was about 1 or 2 weeks ago that I saw the first draft and it was looking unbelievable. So I know that it's happening in the background. And
yeah, absolutely. Very cool. And we can mention, we had a pretty big win this week. We brought on a new partner to the company, to the online company, which is a digital marketing agency. They're in Australia here, but they're located in Melbourne, which is in a different state. And we've been working with the guy who owns this company for a while now, and he's now coming on as an official partner in the Unity Gym Online business, which is huge because this guy is like a digital whiz kid who's going to be taking over largely what Rad is trying to do, fumbling and learning how to do right now. And he's done an amazing job to date, but it'll be great to get a professional in that. And what that means for you guys is that Rad literally has
so much more time now.
He's going to have a whole new role in the organisation because previously he's been doing a very, very difficult, very demanding job that he's been learning how to do along the way, and now his sole focus is going to be making this program better from a standpoint.
Training myself and training you guys and filming videos and filming content and stuff.
It's free. 80% of his time.
Some of you, Alex mostly, have been asking for some of the more advanced progressions in the program. We're getting to a point with the stuff that hasn't been filmed yet that it is bloody hard to do.
Yeah.
It is not easy. And unfortunately, the shoulder injury that I suffered last year really just put me out of action to be able to demonstrate any of those harder progressions. And I'm only just starting to get back to a stage where my strength is really coming up that I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to be able to start doing some of these things now. So, I really want to... I have been. I've been doubling down on my trainings in this lockout phase. But now that I'm not going to have to do all this digital marketing stuff and these things that I'm really bad at, I can focus on the things that I'm good at, which is leveling up my physical skill, producing the content that you guys can use to level yourself up, and coaching. you guys, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really, really exciting. And also, and the next person that's going to be coming into our organisation is going to be a gym manager and a personal trainer, so that Richard and I don't need to do any of the training sessions in the gym anymore, and we can really focus on bringing this program and our online business
just creating more content,
to another level.
Creating more content, making the program better. Doing more of the high level stuff.
And also
radical.
And also, we've created a really good relationship with some really amazing people who are very keen to come on the show as soon as the lockdown. As soon as the lockdown is released. And the first one who's expressed a high level of interest is Daniel Vadnal from Fitness FAQs.
Yeah.
So we're really looking forward to that. He was booked in to do a workshop with us with Cy Monster, and unfortunately that got canned because the lockdown came into effect about 5 days before the workshop. But so there's some really, really cool stuff coming up, guys.
Steve Cavanagh saying, is Yanni on The Voice on Sunday? I got no idea what you're talking about there, brother.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
I don't have a very good voice, though. All right, guys. Well, look, let's bring this in for a landing, and we're going to be doing this again next Wednesday, but you can, of course, join us on Friday for Physio Friday on the UMS Movement Mastermind. If you've got any issues or anything related to physical performance that you would like to ask, make sure you get your questions in. We'll always answer your questions first. And otherwise have a wicked day. We'll see you on the live workout tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow's podcast recording, well, it's not a podcast recording, tomorrow's live stream here in the studio, we'll be going to our gym group only. So we will see you guys on Friday in the studio again.
See you soon, everyone.
Awesome, guys.
Have a great day.
Take care. Health is about performance, not just body image.
You better be willing to accept what you're going to have to do to get there.
We'll start focusing on movement goals, strength goals, flexibility goals.
When you nail that skill, it's there forever.
The body image goal doesn't get you that far.
It's the consistency and frequency that's going to get you there. It's not the intensity.
There's no shortcuts to mastery and movement. Destination doesn't change overnight, but your direction will.
The gym is not the place to beat up the body that you hate. It's the place to build the body that you love.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.